Hi, my name is Susan Cochran, and this is Russ Bradford, and we are here today because we would like to raise some money for a friend of ours, Shawn Harrington. You know Shawn for a long time.
I coached Shawn at New Mexico State in the 1990s, so I've known him since 1993, I guess. And I think what struck all of us when he saved his daughter in the mistaken identity shooting was his just astonishing courage. That he dove on top of his daughter, saved her life. A bullet went through her headrest, and it was an act of such remarkable guts and fortitude that I think that really captured a lot of our hearts.
Yeah, and a lot of people know Shawn because they've seen the movie Hoop Dreams or they've seen the most recent movie Chi-Town. He's in there. He's been in the Chicago Tribune because he's done a lot of inspirational things. But the reality is, he's stuck most of the time in a very small apartment, unable to get out and move around.
That's right. He's lived a double life in the last few years. In that, he's been in the New York Times and HBO Real Sports and the Chicago Tribune and the Today Show. But the reality is he's living in an 800 square foot apartment, or maybe even a little bit smaller, and without wheelchair access, and so he can't get in and out of the building on his own.
There are a lot of opportunities for Shawn that are out there, but he's not able to access them. And I worry sometimes that he can't even get out of that apartment if there's a fire
That's
or
right.
something like that. But there's been an opportunity arise for a condo that's very close to him that would be really accessible.
That's right, and it's completely wheelchair accessible, and it would give him a level of independence that he hasn't had. And I think that's the hardest part for him in the last 5 years since the shooting. Is it's he's dependent on everybody else, and he can't even get out and go get a cup of coffee, or go out go out and enjoy the weather because until someone is comes to take him out and literally lift him out into the outside world. And so that's what this great irony is, that here's a guy who's become this sort of celebrity and has a book about him, and he's featured in a couple films, but the truth is that he's landlocked in many ways and completely dependent on the kindness of everybody else.
So, a lot of you have never met Shawn. He is such a wonderful human being. And I know, Russ, so many of us are concerned about the violence in Chicago, but we feel oftentimes like there's absolutely nothing we can do. But here's a young man that has the ability to reach a community of people like nobody else I've seen.
Well, it's such a dramatic story, and when he shares it with kids, you can see, and parents, you can sort of see them tearing up, and it's he's visibly a very charismatic guy, but also he's a great talker and a great thinker. And I think that's part of the tragedy of this, is that he's a young man with such great potential, but this independence and living independence would be such a great first step for him.
So, Russ and I are here today, and we're really asking you to dig deep and do whatever you can to help Shawn Harrington. We want him to be independent. We want him out there helping the youth of Chicago, and you can help us do that. So, please give.